So what all is included in the Amberley Green zoning text? Actually, quite a lot. Hi, I'm Scott Larmer, Village Manager, and thanks for joining us for the second in a series of short videos regarding proposed zoning text changes for Amberley Green. The purpose of this series is to inform, educate, and encourage dialogue with residents. In this video, we will take a closer look at the principal uses outlined in zoning and talk about how we arrived at where we are. As owners of Amberley Green, the village ultimately has the final say on what goes on the property. Many residents have voiced their preference for open space and walking trails, and others have emphasized the importance of seeing an economic benefit from the property. And while there's certainly enough space in Amberley Green to accommodate multiple purposes, the village understands it is necessary to identify what zoning refers to as use regulations. In other words, what are the principal uses that would be permitted on the property? This merely indicates the uses that are compatible on the property and that we might wish to consider it in the future. It's important to understand this does not mean that Amberley Village plans to allow all the listed usages, but these are concepts that we are open to. The purpose of the proposed zoning text is to anticipate possible usages into the future. Principal uses are still subject to village approval as owners of the property, but can only be considered if included in the zoning language now. In other words, by exclusion from the list, a principal use cannot be considered at all without further action from Council and the Planning Commission. One of Council and Planning Commission's objectives is to protect the value and enjoyment of our village-owned property by designating its most appropriate land use given its location and surrounding uses. Village Council and staff carefully considered the list to keep as many options open for the future as possible. This was done with the premise the village controls the property and ensures the village can act should an opportunity present itself that would meet village objectives. A sampling of some of the future principal uses range from recreational uses such as pools, splash parks, sports fields, and courts, to walking trails, dog parks, and woodland preservation areas. We have also included development options ranging from single-family dwellings, offices, assisted living facilities, limited retail, banquet centers, and restaurants without drive-thrus, to agricultural opportunities such as community gardens. Other items included in the use regulations include temporary uses of the property for events like a farmer's market or a gathering of food trucks. Keep in mind these are concepts the village is open to, with no commitments that any of these uses will materialize. And because the village owns the land, that is our best control over what will happen at Amberley Green. Zoning is really a secondary control due to village ownership, but zoning will dictate how changes to Amberley Green occur. But use regulations are just one portion of the code. The zoning provides an opportunity to outline purpose and set regulations for a wide range of parameters, including building height, minimum lot area, width and setbacks, site development such as parking, lighting and dumpsters, and even landscaping, architecture, and signage. Most importantly, zoning lays out a process for any type of development, which we will examine in our next video in this series. We encourage you to look at the draft text in its entirety on our website. You can go to Documents, Amberley Green, then Amberley Green District Designation Process, or contact Tammy Reesner, Clerk of Council at 531-8675, or via the email address on your screen to have a copy sent to you directly. Again, please mark your calendar and plan to join us at the public hearing on July 8th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers or on Zoom. Details will be available on our website. Thanks for tuning in.